Good morning, everybody. It is the Going On Daily Live morning show, and I was just going to say somebody was late to the party, but she is here, so we're going to bring her in. There we go.
Hey, so sorry, our Wi-Fi was going a little bit too slow.
Look, you're not alone, because I've had so many technical difficulties this morning. I'm surprised we're here. That's how many times. So, look,
Awesome.
This is the Going On Daily Live morning show, and it is season 2, episode 159, Back in Time. And like I do every single time, that will have something to do with today's show. Back in Time.
All
Okay.
right.
Got little the DeLorean over there.
Oh,
What is that?
is it the 40th anniversary? Is it?
It is the 40th anniversary. Yes. Yes, it is. See? Now
I'm out of the loop.
Now
What is that?
it is the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I love that movie. Yeah, beautiful.
So that will be coming up later on in the show today.
Awesome.
So
Very good. I won't spoil it.
It's great. I love it. They need to know so they can stick around for it, you know?
Yeah.
Look, we're gonna have a great show today. All this time we've gone by, JJ, and this is my first show with you.
I know.
Wow.
I was like, oh, good. Ron and I are going to be on the show together.
So I'm excited for that, So
And I know
Luannah,
you were intrigued by my topic.
Luannah's brand new, and she's already got 2 shows with me.
Amazing.
Brand new, started last week, and here we are. This is my first show with you, JJ, so I'm excited for that. We've got some great stuff. We've got some talk about embracing paradox and duality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already lost, so I'm going to get a lesson today in this. We're going to have, and I'm really excited for this, the weirdest things you found in a new home. Now, I've heard some really bad things, and I cannot wait for that one, because that is just goes to show you how crazy people really are. And then, of course, we will have our fun facts of Back to the Future.
Yay. I'll know them all.
I love it. So we're going to jump right into this first topic. I'm just excited for this one. And I put the cougar of all cougars.
Of Cougar Town. Yeah, exactly.
Who was on a show that was named after that. Cougar Town. So Cougar, more like Cub Magnet. I cannot wait for this, because I get the opposite sex opinions on all these things, and it just feeds the brain. That's all it does. This is like fish food right here.
Well, you'll be fascinated with this, because it fascinates me. So I have a friend. I'm 50-ish, and my friends are 50-ish as well. And I have a few that have entered the dating pool in their late 40s. So it's not that they've been newly into the dating pool. They have been dating for, I want to say, a few years, and have tried the blind dates. They've tried the apps and all of that. But what's been interesting, they said over the last year or so, is they cannot find anybody their own age, like within at least this decade, like within somebody that's in their 45 to 60. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Well, you can't find anybody that's all those people don't really want a partner or a companion. They just want
a trophy
or, a good night girl, and they're like these. She was like, but I can't keep these late 20s, early 30s off. Like they want to marry him. Like they want the relationship. They want the marriage. And I was like, she goes, it's crazy. She goes, I have nothing in common with these people.
Right.
And I said, well, why? I'm like, what's that? She goes, and it's a fun. She goes, it's happening in like her circle of women dating. And she was like, because these are men that don't want to have children. They want a mature, like that's already independent, career oriented, that have kind of, and that's the type of companion they're looking for. So it's been a fascinating thing.
I mean, it's a weird situation because it's like, when men get to that age, they just want to be with every little tramp that comes around. And then for the women, they're trying to find somebody that they're compatible with.
Right.
And it's just not attainable because those guys are idiots.
Right. And I was laughing because I was like, there's an article that came out not that long ago about this trend of what's called hobosexual, of these younger guys that want to move from their hobo. They want to move from their home, like from mama's house, to then find an older woman to basically that has a nice house or a nice place to live, and they're just moving right in. And she was like, well, I don't live anything lavish or anything. She was like, but it is this, they want to have somebody that's already kind of been self-made and self-independent. And she's just, we're just laughing about it to go, this is insane. And she goes, when am I going to find like my next one? And I saw a meme that was going around of Cher and Madonna. They're in their what, late 60s, what, Cher's 77 and is dating somebody that's
is she
28?
77 or is she like 107?
Yeah, but she's dating like both her, she and Madonna are dating men in their 20s, early 30s. And so I just joked with her. I said, look, maybe your man hasn't been born yet. They're, you're just not that. They just haven't been born. And she's just like, this is insane. So I was so I was joking around asking my other women my age, like that are dating. And they said, yeah, it's crazy, weird. You get on these apps and the amount of young men.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments now, and Becky and Sharon are having a ball right now. Look, Sharon says all the men in their 50s are dating younger women.
Yeah.
Becky,
they want a new mama.
A new mama. Yeah, that's all these 20-year-olds. They want a new mama because they just want to be taken care of. And I got to tell you, my roommate that I have is 28.
Is he dating older women?
I swear to God, he's 12.
And is he dating women in their 50s?
I don't think so. He's all he does is play video games.
Wow.
And sleep. That's basically what he does. It's like it's weird because it's like I rent from his mother.
So
and
you're taking care of him.
Now, there are benefits to that because I'm reaping benefits from getting a meal made here and there, right. and I don't mind that, but I do draw the line when they just don't do anything and they just expect to be catered to, and it's so frustrating. And I feel your pain. I feel your pain. It is frustrating to see when they grow up. That's about the best thing I can say is grow up. Becky mentioned Kris Jenner. I'm surprised you didn't mention Bruce Jenner. Right? Oh, we just lost JJ. So we'll just put it on this for now. So 28 is the new 12. I mean, Luann, come on. Luann.
It's kind of
Yeah.
scary.
I mean, do you see this, with the people that you associate with? I mean, are you seeing this kind of a thing as well?
Not as much where I am. I'm on a small island. I'm seeing more younger women with older men here, but
Yeah.
and I'm not on dating apps, so I'm not so sure about that part. But yeah, I'm on an island with just 1,000 people. So, and I don't see a lot of that here, but in the city, I'm learning that's what it is. It's like, wow, that's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. And Becky says his roommate clearly doesn't watch the show. Sometimes he does, but I know that he's on his way to work now because I heard him leave.
Okay.
And so he's not watching right now.
So you're safe.
Yeah. So I am safe. I am safe.
Until he watches the
I don't
repeat.
want to. I don't want him to tell mommy on me.
Your rent's gonna go up.
No kidding, right? Right. I have it made right now, and that would be a disaster. All right, so JJ is back.
I don't know what happened.
Let's get this. So we were just talking about how Luannah sees, the opposite thing often where she is, where it's the guys just, with the trophy girlfriends. And frankly, that's Bill Belichick, right?
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, I see it both ways. Like I'm fascinated at the trend of, whoa, that's happening.
It's sad because it's like, where do you go to even meet people anymore? You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't like going to a bar and meeting somebody because that's just not quality, right? That's not what you want, and
everyone's doing the
hard
ads.
up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
It's crazy.
I get it, and I don't know. Women, you just have to figure out what is important to you. That's the best thing I can think of for the advice. What's the best thing for you? Do you want to, date younger men and just not have anything incompatible, or you just want to be alone?
Right.
I mean, that's basically the options for the most part, right?
That's right. And she's just, she's like, I just want to find, that lifelong partner.
Yeah.
And she's like, the only ones that want to step up to the plate are these men that I don't have a lot of common with. But yeah.
Sharon says 28-year-olds, hoodies, video games, day-old pizza.
Wow.
Becky, when I was single at 28 to 30 and the 20-year-olds wanted me, but not dudes my age, even though I had 2 small kids, it was bizarre. Yeah, because they want to hang out with your kids.
Oh my gosh.
They want to play video games.
They want to be the next child. Yeah. Oh,
Yes. Yes. Sharon with the classic #hookup.
That's right. Right.
It's,
We like share.
I think it's across the board with everybody. I mean, because
Yeah.
there are people searching for just that someone that you're just compatible with and going out places, or enjoying a movie at home,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. But it's not easy to find. It's just not.
No, and there's got to be a readiness in both people. I mean, I'm really blessed. I met my husband at a conference where I was the musical performer. So I got a little something in my throat. And up until then, too, just shortly before I met him, I went, okay, if I'm going to be alone, I'll be alone and I'm okay. But I set out to the universe, I said, but if there's a soul that I can share my life with, then you bring him now. And I actually met him 3 months later, and we've been together 11 years now.
So you manifested that. Yeah.
My best friend, he's my everything. And it doesn't mean it's been perfect. It's been rocky. I mean, and that's something that I think in a relationship people aren't wanting to meet. They're just wanting to have the cotton candy, the sweet treats, but they don't want to meet the human inside that has brokenness. We all have brokenness.
Right.
And relationship is the place we can bring it out and we can heal if there's two conscious people involved. Otherwise, like last week was my topic, triggers. We just ping back and forth triggers until there's no more back and forth because, okay, we're done. But each of these ping pong triggers is actually an opportunity to know myself more and him to know himself more and us to know ourselves more. But this is not something people are, advertising as relationship. They're just saying, here's your booty, right? So here, let's just hook up. But if we want that meaningfulness, we need to develop that meaningfulness in ourselves too.
Yeah.
In order to magnetize, there's laws in this universe.
I'm going to have to call a therapist now.
I was like, I'm laughing at Becky and Sharon's comments of, I've turned down 5 men in their 30s. My middle name isn't Cher.
And I see this, and it's that, oh God, these 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds just want to be taken care of. That's sad, to be honest with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It is they're just on that bandwagon of, I just want somebody to take care of me, and that's the way I'm gonna do things, and
that doesn't work.
And it's just that they're trying to take advantage of the women and manipulate them.
Ron needs therapy. That's
no kidding. After this week, all this dating stuff is really.
Well, then you have really sweet things like celebrities that, Billy Ray Cyrus and Elizabeth Hurley. Now they've got this really blossoming romance, and it just started out with Elizabeth Hurley just sent him a text that was like after the divorce of just like, hey, I get there. I've been there if you need anything. And they just started texting and it blossomed into something really beautiful. So you never know how people make connections.
Yeah.
There you go, Ron.
Yeah, look, when it comes down to it, more power to the women. Look, the women have more power than what they think they do. I really, truly believe that. They have the world in their hands, and they basically can dictate what happens. Because, look, a guy isn't going to be with you if you choose not to, right?
Let's hope.
Well, yeah. There's always that, but when it comes to relationships, you hold all the cards.
You need to slide into those DMs, Ron.
All of them.
You need to start doing text me Tinder kind of.
Text me Tinder.
Slide into those DMs, Ron. Yeah, thank you, Becky. I just don't operate like
Ron's
that.
Ron's got to get the Hurley touch. Ron's got to get.
I'm just myself. You want a clown? I'm available. Period. I've seen everything in my days, so I don't think, and I say this, I don't think anything would shock me anymore. And I say that hesitantly because you never know. It could be something. Ron should do a top 5 list on the juiciest DMs he has ever received. No, I wouldn't be able to do that. Would not be able to do that. I've had some pretty intense ones too. I actually had a stalker.
Now I want you to do one. You need to do
a stalker.
I had a stalker at one point.
Wow.
What?
Yeah. I dated this girl. We went on one date, and by the end of the night, after I dropped her off, she told me she loved me. And I'm like, what? I couldn't believe it.
You got
I
the
was
love
like,
bomb immediate.
I'm like, no. no. So I didn't call her. And then she kept calling me and calling me and calling me and calling me and calling me.
Ugh.
And everywhere I went, like, she knew where I worked, so she'd be around there. And it was a mess. It was a mess.
That's not healthy.
Yeah, I went through that for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. It was a long time. That was tough to get rid of.
Wow, that's a long time. There's a hunger for love, and sometimes that hunger can create
like a weird.
It just had that effect on people, right?
Yeah. God bless.
Can't get enough.
But they all should belong in an institution. That's the problem. That is the problem. You know? I don't know. I just bring that out in people. Oh, all right. So, oh my God, we could probably do this forever because there's so much information about this.
I thought you'd enjoy the topic.
That was good. And it's so true, though. I feel bad for the women because men suffer. They do.
Well, and I've don't want to, but I've got another friend that she is a powerful, this beautiful Black woman, very successful. She went to a dating coach who said a dating coach because she's like, I've just turned 50. I have been dating like I can't find anybody. And this lady has like the ability to look at like who's in all the apps and go, okay, this is who you're looking for. This is what you would align with. And she was like, and we live in South Carolina. She was like, this person, like whoever you're looking for, doesn't exist in South Carolina. You need to move to Atlanta or Nashville or Charlotte.
Wow.
Like who doesn't exist anywhere in your geography. And also the coaching of like how to, she was like, look, you're lingering in the text too long. Like, within several interactions, if there's a spark or not, to be able to even want to do a coffee, to even want to do a date. So she was like, had this whole method of, if you don't have that, that energy to even set up a coffee date, eliminate them. Like, don't even waste your energy.
Yeah.
And then, helped her coach of like how to uncover what questions to ask and stuff when you do meet up for a date to see if it is if something that you want to learn and engage in further. But she's like, it's like get to the know faster in sales, right? It's the same method in dating is how she kind of applied it.
Wow.
But anyway, so my friend ended up moving to Nashville, taking a job there, and it like met somebody within like a month, and she is just like, how does this?
Wow.
Yeah, but if you're working hard to get that no, then
like,
you could literally find anything.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's not a good plan either.
Well, I say that I call it that method of like in sales, we say get to the no faster, of stop trying to get the yes and having 6, 7, 8, 10, 15 interactions with a company that you're trying to sell into.
Yes.
More of like design all of your interactions to get to the, it's either a yes or not yet. And then put that off to go, I'll call you back in 6 months. But having this like lingering of, well, maybe, I don't know, can you revise the proposal this way or do that? It's like, just cut it off. Just get to the no. Just tell me yes or no. Either you don't have the money or you don't have the money yet, or you're not interested. Let's move on.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of how she applied some similar method.
You're
to
just
dating.
tiptoeing around it at that point.
Right. Because that's what she was dealing with for decades, of lingering with probably dozens of guys that you're just texting and like going out maybe once a quarter with on a dinner date or whatever. She was like, it's not productive. And it really just drained her energy of, I'm not wanted. And so it became this like mental activity of, how do I get somebody to like me more, to text me back, to want to ask me out? And that's what the dating coach was like, no, you're approaching it all wrong.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So doing it, kind of get to the no faster.
Yeah, I mean, if there's no.
It's tough out there. We'll just say that. It's tough out there.
We need to set up Ron on a date. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. I'm.
That's a long
That's
pause.
something for another show. Another show. Can't. After what I went through with Kelly and Kyle the other day, we'll leave that one for another one.
Of your triggers?
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Look, you are watching us, and there's a lot of people watching us right now on Rhode Island Broadcasting at YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. So follow those. Click that little bell if you're on YouTube. Share. If you're also watching us on live with Twitch at RI_broadcasting. So send us bits, send us 6 bits, so that way we can each put our 2 cents in. Now, you can also listen to us on our audio platforms: Red Circle, Spotify, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio. RI Broadcasting. It's that simple. Just get on there, and if you're driving to work, or if you're at work and you can listen to something while you're working, then go ahead. Download that episode that is just recently posted up, which was yesterday's. So download that and listen to that one after the show, of course. After this show. You can also follow us on all of our social media: LinkedIn, Parler, Blue Sky, TikTok, MeWe.
We're everywhere.
Gab. We're on everything. So Space Hey.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, so we can do that. And also you can follow us on Patreon and get some merch like this great mug. I have my tea today. I got tea.
Nice.
I have no orange juice. I got no chocolate milk. I got nothing else in the house except for tea. So
that's funny. You made me think of this. I grew up in Toronto, just outside of Toronto, and there was the QFM, I think it was. And every morning they had this show says Chicken Man. There was a da-da-da. It's Chicken Man. It's Chicken Man. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. So we're everywhere.
We are everywhere. That is true. We are everywhere. Honestly, I mean, there is stuff that I think we're on that I don't even know. I can't even remember. So we're everywhere. You can also, and this is really, really important, go to Facebook, where Ron's not allowed. Going on Daily Morning Show. Mark Zuckerberg does not want me to have a Facebook, so he is,
it's so crazy.
So, but get on there, because we have to start all over. Our 10,000 followers on Rhode Island Broadcasting are gone, and they're all wondering, where is it? Where's the morning show? I haven't been able to see it. Well, you got to go on Going On Daily Morning Show. We got to get that thing up to 100 followers, and that way we can air the show live there as well. You can also support at RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net. There you will have all of the shows that are on Rhode Island Broadcasting, including this fabulous morning show going on daily, where you can find all the hosts and where you can find them, as well as recent episodes and where you can donate. And Mark, make it up to us. Make it up to us, by donating $10 million, Mark.
Ooh.
Everybody else can donate like $1, $5, whatever it may be to keep the show going. But Mark Zuckerberg, we want 10 million.
That's
10 million from you. Yep. So Sharon said I got Zucker punched on the Facebook. Yup.
You got Zucker punched. That's right.
Yeah, so that's where you can find us. Come on, everybody, support the show. We want to be bigger than Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Do it.
And frankly, I think we're better. Just saying. We're better. All right, let's go on to the next thing that I have no clue what this is. Luannah, explain this to me.
I love this
Embracing
topic.
paradox and duality. I didn't even know what to do for graphics. I looked up a thing and it said, paradox, duality. So I took the picture from that.
That's cool.
I have no idea what this is.
Well, actually, the dating thing kind of leads into it because it's about relationship, right?
Oh, boy. Oh, my God. I just can't avoid this week.
No, you're on call, Ron. So, embracing duality and paradox. Okay, so this is the basic meme we tend to live our life by. Let's make life easy. Let's make it simple. No conflict, no triggers. We don't want any messy stuff. We should just have it easy. This is a meme we have, but it goes against nature. The world is based on duality. There is contrast. There's light, there's dark. There's a higher self, there's a lower self. There's the masculine, the feminine. Everything is in duality. And for me, in my journey of my own self-relationship of healing and growing and learning, what was a game changer was embracing the duality. What does that look like? It means when something bad happens, right? And it's hard. Life is hard. Nobody is without challenges to navigate. Like Plato said, everybody's struggling and fighting a war that we don't know inside. It's true. We're also struggling within our own dualities of our higher nature and our lower nature. So our lower nature, you can call it the survival brain. That's where everything is just about pleasure or pain. If it activates pain in us in any way, we will run. We are wired to run away from it. Whatever brings us pleasure, we are wired to go towards it. That's the survival brain. That's the animal brain, the limbic brain.
That's the right thing to do.
Sometimes. But we have a frontal cortex that has been developing over quite a period of time, but it's not as developed as the limbic brain, because the limbic brain, it helped us survive millions of years. Without it, we wouldn't be here. So it has dominance. So the survival brain also looks for what's wrong before what's right. Because if I'm an animal in a burrow, I need to be able to look at the environment and identify every possible threat. Right. So that's a natural part of our mechanism to look for what's wrong. But with the evolution of our frontal cortex, our frontal brain, which is more reasoning, more thought processes, being able to connect the dots, to see a broader view, it's a different story. The frontal cortex is able to see and connect the dots. Okay, this is happening, but okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe there's another way to navigate this, or maybe this is a redirect for my life. Mm-hmm. Right? So, and I've been through my share of knocks. So this is what brought me through, is no longer expecting life to be easy and simple, but expecting it, okay, look at nature. Nature's been my guide. Mm-hmm. It's not just all roses all the time. It's not just sunshine all the time. Right. It's with us. We have our inner tsunamis. We have our inner static electric moments.
I got tsunamis.
We have our cotton candy moments. We have all of these systems in us as well. But
so
when
what you're saying is I need to embrace the darker side.
we need to acknowledge it. We need to
just
acknowledge it.
acknowledge, yeah.
Yeah, we
Because
need
I
to
already got the
acknowledge it.
lighter side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I need the dark side.
Exactly. That's the problem, because we're only looking here. And if we don't embrace, I do have a lower nature that has a tendency to, want to react, want to be aggressive, want to judge, want to, project my own stuff on other people. We have to acknowledge I have that. If I don't acknowledge it, then I'm going to believe that everything I think is true, and it's not.
Right. Ron, I love this topic because it's things that we practice in leadership coaching and helping, like team building. When you look at, and I've had to do it like self-discovery, that's the mix of paradox and duality is that spiritual side of, I call it the two wolves. If you know the tale of two wolves, that there's a light wolf and a dark wolf inside of all of us. One is joy, one is hope, one is grace and love, and the other one is despair or anger. And it's like, you've got to acknowledge that both of them reside. It's, they're contradictions, but which one do you feed, right? Which one do you want to really bring forward? You still got to acknowledge the others. That's going to be a trigger. That's going to make me angry, or that's going to make me not as forgiving or graceful, because that's something that's, we're all built and wired differently. And in business and team building, it's very similar to polarity thinking. Everything it's not an either or lens, it's an and. So, in like leadership teams, we're always talking about like structure versus freedom, or tradition versus innovation, or performance versus people. And instead of a lot of leaders and CEOs, as they start growing their business, tend to look at that as an either or. I have to keep my position because, or I've got to be innovative. And it's like, we come in and we try to teach them, no. It is an and. You can still have your traditions, but you can also figure out strategies to bring innovation into your company, or you can have structure and provide empowerment and autonomy and freedom and independence to people within your company as you build it. So it's polarity thinking, same thing as duality and paradox. It's just a way you've got to,
it's a mindset.
Embrace all of it. Right?
It's a mindset. It's choosing. It's like you're saying there's a choice. So I'm trained in traditional Hawaiian healing, and one of the principles is makia, which means focus. Where my attention goes, my energy flows, and that's what grows.
Oh,
so
I like that.
Understanding that our thoughts, our focus is a power.
Yeah.
It is a force. It's not inanimate. It does create. Quantum physics shows it now as well. When we understand that we are dual in nature, and what if I bring in the element of soul? We're not just a biology. We're not just a mind. There is another animating force of who we are that is actually the governing force, but because the memes that we have in society to stay safe and to not have to acknowledge our dark side, even like in I lived in Europe for 10 and a half years, and I'll give you a parallel. So in Germany, I could have a friend and we could have like a really working it out conflict, right? And it was not the end. It was like, we'd have our debate and then, okay, let's go out for a bite to eat. And the friendship is still there. But moving to North America was different. One trigger, like, you're out, right? They're just like, people just don't want to engage. And the thing is what I came to understand is that conflict is the catalyst for connection when we know how to use it. And that's a paradox.
Right.
we think conflict should separate us, but actually conflict is a catalyst. It's like two sticks rubbing. And what happens? You get flame. You get a third creation.
Right. We call it the and strategy. Like, well, where are you looking at it in the kind of the framework of this is one side, this is the other side. We tend to think of it as sides. How do we come and think of it in the middle?
And even, I would say, even as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
Not even as a side, as a whole.
As a whole.
We are that, and we're constantly navigating and dancing moment by moment.
Right.
Lower self, high self, lower self, high self. What is the high self? The high self expresses itself as when there's a conflict, instead of just feeding into our stories and our memes, well, because of this, you did this, and regurgitating and brooding, which then, okay, if where my attention goes, that's what grows, well, what am I going to get? And if I'm doing that, yet I expect to have peace and harmony, I'm sorry, that's not going to work.
Right.
I have to take governance over my own mind and my own thinking and make choices. I can
but
say,
it starts within. Like,
exactly. I can say I feel angry. I feel, ticked off. I feel betrayed. I feel these things. But then the question is, well, okay, where is that hitting me, and what do I do with it? And how much of it is it also my own storytelling?
Mm-hmm.
And how much of it is it really real? Because when we have trauma, we project.
Mm-hmm.
I work with a lot of women caught in narcissistic, abusive relationships. And at one point, I always have to ask them, so where are you doing this to yourself? Because I've been there. I've been in a narcissistic relationship. It took me a few years to get out of. But I deciphered. I understand the subtle mechanisms of psychology that are there. And for me, in my case, and I've seen it in every case, that person was just reflecting where I didn't have self-worth and self-love. They were my mirror. Right? And so, and when I ask my clients, so you say you don't feel heard. Well, where aren't you hearing yourself? You say you don't feel seen. Where aren't you seeing yourself?
Right.
You say you don't feel love. Where are you not loving yourself? Because usually when we're drawn to somebody in that nature, it's because we're looking for love and validation outside of ourselves. So that's the paradox. To get the love inside, we have to cultivate the love inside.
Yeah.
And how do we do that?
Somewhere there are a study group of therapists that are just waiting to get their claws into me. They're just waiting to pounce.
Well, the thing is that when I live in awareness of that, right, then I have a way to navigate when challenge happens.
Right.
I even have just a basic understanding of some of these universal laws. Then instead of just stewing in my own inner soup, I have possible tributaries to explore where I can embrace the this and the that. It's both.
Yeah. Go ahead.
There's a beautiful parable, Chinese parable. It's from a book called Paradox and Healing that I got this from. If I can just share this is a beautiful analogy. Now you can see if you're looking at life through a dual, like this or that lens, the story would be different. But this is a this and that lens. So there's a Chinese farmer. He has a son, and they have one horse, and they bring that horse to the market. The son brings the horse to the market to sell goods and to get goods. One day, the horse ran away with a bunch of other wild horses. So the boy walked back to the father, and father, the horse is gone. The neighbor said, "Oh my God, that is horrible. That's the most terrible thing that could happen." The father said, "Maybe so, maybe no." A few days later, the horse came back with 5 other wild Mustangs. And then the neighbor was like, "Wow, how fortuitous, how lucky you are. You got 5 new horses. You can even sell them and make enough money for the year and whatever." And the father says, "Maybe so, maybe no." A week later, the boy's training the horse, one of the horses. The horse throws him, he breaks his leg. The neighbors say, "Oh man, too bad he brought those horses. Now your son's got a broken leg and he can't work." The father said, "Maybe so, maybe no." A week later, the military came to draft all the sons. Because he had a broken leg. Maybe so, maybe no.
That's pretty good.
So there's it's a beautiful way to see that there's so often we react to the moment and we forget to see actually this moment isn't the only moment. It's not singular. It's connected to more moments that are unfolding from it and will unfold it. So to have that mindfulness and the mindset that says, okay, breathe and let me see, where is it taking me inside of me first?
Mm-hmm.
And let's see how this works out. And that's a very sober mindset. And when we look at relationship through that mindset, when we look at our business through that mindset, then we're no longer just narrowing to this pinhole idea of this is what reality should be. And then we open up and we say, oh my gosh, I have a window here. I have this here. I have that. I have more ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
Access.
Basically getting rid of the tunnel vision.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's the singularity tunnel vision. When we try to reduce life to a singular idea, that's the recipe for absolute suffering. It's like,
yes.
like there's no life that can happen in there.
Right.
It's impossible.
Well, and also you can't grow as you lead businesses and step into, CEO or, high level leader. You can't do that and have singular thinking as well. Like you have to embrace the duality of our self, but also to create strategies within your business and operations to have polarity. Like you have to have polarity strategies.
And we need duality. What would life be if everything was just
right?
What would life be? With no contrast.
But it's not an either or. It's that everything
exactly.
is like, how do you come up with the and lens? Yeah.
And it's about using duality as the catalyst to grow and learn, because that's what it's there for. Right. It's there for that. Without duality, without contrast, there's nothing new.
Because it's conflict. We call it in business. We call it friction. Like you're feeling the friction. A lot of times you feel it and you're going, what is going on? And a lot of times it's because we've thought I've got to have, this way, I can't do this way. And when we come in and we're like, we've got to embrace the polar opposites and find the middle, like find strategies that meet both. And yeah, I said I was excited to see the topic because I was like, oh, turns out the boardroom and the soul room, we speak the same language.
Yeah.
What I was.
It is a universal language.
It is
and when we can, life is hard. It's never not going to be hard. So the belief that it shouldn't be hard is what's trapping us.
Right.
But if I face life and I say, I know unexpected things are going to happen. I know there's going to be challenges. I know I'm going to get triggered. I might get triggered today. Who knows? Right. But that is a part of the cocktail of life. And when I embrace it as the cocktail of life, then I'm not going to be ripped out of my seat when something happens. Instead, I'm going to be like, okay, whoa, let me put my buckle on. What am I going through? Right? Let's get my Sherlock Holmes light on and let's investigate here. Where am I going here? Because the fact is, when I bring back soul into the equation, we each have our own unique soul frequency. And we are here to let that thrive. But if we're always in survival brain, there's no space for the soul to thrive. The only way the soul can come out and really express and be is if we get that mastery, we shift the ratio. So this is our conscious mind. This is our unconscious. This is what it does. The unconscious mind constantly gobbles up our consciousness when we're triggered. And we're like, holy cow, where did I go? What happened? Right? So this whole journey of self-knowing is to shift the ratio. So my conscious mind is stronger, more developed than my subconscious mind. It doesn't have the power. And then my conscious mind can direct my subconscious mind. That is the journey. And it's an exciting journey. It's a fun journey. It doesn't have to be, it's not hard work. It's just like when you start to get the magic of how this works, then even in challenge, it's possible to find a way through.
Right.
And people might say, oh, well, what about extreme situations? Well, myself, but I just want to share Viktor Frankl from Auschwitz. Anybody familiar with him? Mm-hmm. He survived concentration camps. He wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. When I was in my 20s and I was going through a bunch of stuff, I read his book, and he came out of the concentration camp after several years loving humanity still, with his soul intact. I'm like, how did he do that? And he said, well, they could do whatever they wanted to my body, but they couldn't take away my mind and my soul. So if he saw like a flower, when one day outside, that flower sustained him for the next week until he went outside again. So he chose to connect to his soul and his soul connection to the greater world, which is bigger than anything else and is really unaffected by the physical world when we are tapped in. So he was my example. And when I read that, I went, well, what's my excuse? So I can't just, validate my traumas anymore. I can't just, validate my reactivity at times when I know it's not appropriate. It's because I'm hurt, right? So that's when we react. We're feeling vulnerable, right? That's when we go, we don't want our vulnerability to be exposed. But again, like I said last week, we need vulnerability in order to connect to ourselves and to life. So embracing the duality is engaging in that dance of life, where it's not the either or, it's the moving with and encountering, being present with, leaning into the uncomfortable moments so I can know myself there more rather than just say, well, that's just who I am. Well, no, it's not. I'm sorry. You didn't start out that way. You started out with this vibrant being, right?
I feel 100% smarter now.
Aw, that's sweet.
So, look, if you want to find out more about this, Luann, where can they find you? Fans out there.
Yeah, I gave you my Facebook links and things like that. I founded an institute for personal transformation. It's called Soul Spectives Institute. So gaining the soul view. So you just spell it Soul Spectives Institute.com. And that's where you'll get a lot of information. I have a retreat center. I do online stuff. And, it's a really beautiful thing because what happens is like, you can hear all of this is very common sense and it's clicking, right? It's like, it makes sense.
Right.
And these are the pieces that we're missing. We're missing common sense pieces so that we can actually put our life together and make sense of ourselves.
I've been told I've always been missing common sense. JJ, where can they find you?
They can find me at GoBrightNow.com. That's GoBrightNow.com. Yep.
All right. So they can find them. Look, we're running out of time. We have 2 more topics to go, and we're gonna do this one as fast as I possibly can. Fun facts for Back to the Future. It is, like JJ said at the beginning of the show, it is the 40th anniversary. So I could not help but do something for fun facts on Back to the Future. And there's a boatload, right? So I'm going to try to narrow it down to like 10. And there's so many that it would make your head spin. There's some great ones. We'll start off that this movie was rejected more than 40 times by every single major studio.
Wow.
Yep.
And a common thing that they were told, time travel doesn't make money.
Right.
And then another thing, it was like, it's nice, but we want raunchier, like Porky's. Imagine if they made this like a Porky's movie.
Oh, no. That'd be horrible.
And then they tell you, oh, why don't you take it to Disney? Yeah, they did take it to Disney. And you know what they told them? It was too raunchy.
Wow.
So there you go. It's, you get hit by the double-edged sword, right?
Do you have on there the original title that they were shopping?
Yes, I do.
Under? Okay.
I do. Well, we might as well say that one now. I mean, the original title was Spaceman from Pluto. That was one of the execs wanted that as the name of this movie, and that would have been awful.
That was awful. It would have got lost with that one.
Yeah, it would have never been big. Would have never been. It probably wouldn't even be seen.
No.
I wonder if that exec got fired after that. In early drafts, the time machine was made out of an old refrigerator on the back of a pickup truck. Back of a pickup truck. Could you imagine that?
That would have been fun.
So it then moved to the DeLorean as a joke. They thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And not only that, this car broke down constantly. And they were thinking of making a change to another car, and Ford offered a sponsorship to use the Mustang, but they thought the DeLorean was so funny that they decided to keep the DeLorean anyway.
Wow. Holy cow. That's incredible.
It could have been a Ford Mustang. And I love that idea, but it would not have been the same if it was that. It had to be the DeLorean. It had to be.
Totally.
Elijah Wood. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Frodo? Elijah Wood made his debut in film in this movie, Back to the Future 2, where he played a kid playing the arcade game Wild Gunman in the Cafe 80s. He was the kid playing the video game.
Wow.
Elijah Wood.
That's incredible.
He went from that to Gandalf.
Well, he did some other things in between.
Yes, he did. He's actually a pretty good actor. I've seen him in many things. All right. Einstein, the dog, Einstein, was originally going to be a chimpanzee named Shemp.
That would have changed everything. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Could you, like, this could have been, this was like when this first started, this movie was completely different.
It was a B movie. It was like, no way.
Oh, yeah. This would have been, it would have been brutal. Brutal.
Yeah, B for brutal.
It needed all those rejections to get to where it was.
Yes.
Embrace the duality. That's the paradox.
There you go.
And the biggest change, you're going to talk about that, right?
The what?
The biggest change.
Well, we're getting there.
All right.
We're getting there. Whittier High School in Whittier, California, played the role of Hill Valley High School. So it was a California high school that actually was the high school in the movie. And what makes it a fun fact, that high school, Richard Nixon went to that high school. How about that? Former president Richard Nixon went to the high school.
Wow. Cool.
Did not know that.
That's
Fun
cool
fact. All right. So, Zemeckis and Gale, who are responsible for this movie, first choice was Michael J. Fox. But they went to the TV studio for Family Ties, and they asked them to change the production time so that way Michael J. Fox can do the movie. They refused.
Wow.
So they were considering Johnny Depp and settled on Eric Stoltz, who got fired 6 weeks into filming.
Well, they only had 10 days left of filming. They were already, it was 85% done.
Oh my
weeks. Yeah.
He was not what you see by Michael J. Fox.
No.
So this is what they said about him.
Yeah.
He was fired for bringing brooding intensity.
It was too
to
dark.
A
like he brought
film.
he brought it too serious. He was very.
Yeah, it was like too intense.
Right.
And I can see that with Eric Stoltz, right? I can see that.
Right.
So he also basically rubbed everybody the wrong way.
Right. They were getting the dailies
like
in, right? Wasn't it like Zemeckis said, I'm getting the dailies in, and he's like, it's just not fun. He's like, it's just ugh.
So he clashed with the cast and crew, especially Tom Wilson, who played Biff.
Oh, I could see that.
Biff had a big problem with him.
Wow.
So They ended up trying to work out a deal with Michael J. Fox while they were still filming, mind you.
Right.
They were trying to get the scenes without Eric Stoltz. So they were trying to get those scenes done. They worked out a deal with Michael J. Fox. He came aboard and they let him go. They told him he was dismissed after the 6 weeks. And, then history was made with Michael J. Fox, of course.
Yeah.
Right. And they also had to rewrite a lot of the scenes that always appeared at night. I mean, it kind of works, but they had to, because Michael J. Fox could only do it at night after Family Ties was over. And so he was working like 23 hours. Like he was only running on like an hour sleep. And they knocked out his scenes, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks. So it was a really short time frame, right? But but everything was at night.
You're talking about all those scenes, like the ones where they were in the parking lot and it was at midnight.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be like that. It was supposed to be during the day.
Right. Or like to get back to get back to the future during like prom. That was also supposed to be, I don't know if it was night, but they had to rewrite everything. Yes. So if you look back at the movie, anything that Michael J. Fox is in, I think there's like one scene at the morning of, or 2 scenes like that are daytime.
Yeah, the one with the manure.
Yeah, manure. That they shot everything like in a day. Anything they had to like pack everything around.
Yeah.
That whatever the downtown.
Yeah, they had to get it right like in one shot because the time restraints that they had.
Right.
And Michael J. Fox, give him credit because
he was
without
working
him
around
sacrificing sleep, it would have never happened.
Right.
Wow.
So this makes me really respect Michael J. Fox.
Oh yeah.
More knowing what he had to go through just to make that movie.
Right. He saw the vision and it was like there's nobody else that could have done it. He really I don't know if you're going to get to another fun fact. Do you know what triggered when they also removed or replaced Eric Stoltz? Who else was fired?
Who else was fired?
Melora Hardin, who plays Jan from The Office, if you remember her. She was the original girlfriend. And so when Eric got replaced, she found out like that day of, sorry, you're too tall. We can't have a girlfriend that's a foot taller than Michael J. Fox.
Right.
So they replaced Melora with Claudia Wells.
And it was a good choice.
But Jan from The Office was supposed to be the original girlfriend.
Yeah, I think they did a wonderful job making that movie. And you got to give them credit for coming in that late in it.
And knocking it out.
And nailing it.
Yeah.
They nailed it. So, Becky says Johnny Depp would have ruined it. Yes, I agree with that.
He wouldn't have been the right. Yeah.
There's a lot of night scenes. Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine trying to learn the lines so fast? Well, that's what made Michael J. Fox great, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody loves Michael J. Fox. I mean, how do you not?
Right.
How do you not?
Yeah.
So,
we have watched all those movies with our son so many times we can't even count. We have these once a year. We have this Back to the Future marathon where we just take them all in. It's like the most amazing movie. Yeah. So
he was absolutely perfect in that role.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, I don't know if it's going to happen, but they're talking about Tom Holland rebooting this.
What? Why does it need to be rebooted?
I don't know why it needs to be. Why does anything need to be rebooted? But if you're going to choose somebody, that's not a bad one to pick.
It's not a bad one. He kind of has that, next door, neighbor kind of boy charm. He has great comedic timing, but can also bring a lot of like drama. So
yeah, he's really good.
And just athletic.
You ever see the movie Cherry with Tom Holland?
No.
Wow, what a movie. What a movie. He was fantastic. Blows any Spider-Man away.
Wow.
Cherry. I'm gonna look it up.
Cherry.
Cherry.
We're gonna get to this one really quick because I have to know. Weirdest things you found in a new home. What do you got for us, JJ? Because I'm curious now.
Well, so you go into a new home, right? And like you're digging through closets and stuff. So there was a report. It was in the state of Washington, outside of Seattle, that somebody avoided like a loft area of their house for a year. She was like, I just had this feeling that we were going to find a body. And
I was gonna
in the house. And so after a year, they finished remodeling the downstairs and said, okay, we got to tackle. And she's like, there's some weird, just like random stuff. She was like, there was a box of cassette tapes. And there were, a couple of like suitcases. There was like, like leftover like Christmas tree, ornaments. She was like, so we started clearing it out. And she was like, I started to pick up the suitcases, and there clearly was something in it. And she was like, I was deathly afraid. So she opened it up, and lo and behold, she got knocked back because there was a body in it.
I was going to say that because I've heard of that.
And open up the other suitcase, and there was the other half of the body.
Oh my God!
But it was a CPR practice dummy that was dressed up in two shirts. But it looked so real. She was like, she called the police.
Well,
like had the whole, the chaos.
There was a story that I remember. There was a story I remember of a brand new home, and this family moves into this home, and they just started smelling something funny, like a nasty odor, right? Well, they did some digging, literally, like poked holes in the walls where they thought it was coming from, and there was a dead body in there. Oh, so apparently, the people that made the house, somebody that did this killed somebody and put them in the wall.
Right. They make movies about that, and they're like a Kevin Bacon, like a movie where he gets hypnotized and then he sees the ghost or whatever. Yeah, and that was buried in the house by their landlord or whatever.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. I mean,
but she was like, "I told you we would find a body." He was like, "Well, it wasn't real." The husband was like,
it wasn't real.
It was dressed up, and it was the head, the hair, and was realistic. But yeah, worst nightmare.
Your mafia home builder. All right. Well, that is the show today. We got to get out of here. We're running late. But it was well worth it. It was well worth it.
It was a good one. We need to get run therapy. That's what we're.
That's not the right. This is the right one. Saturday we have Ira, Lena, and JP will be joining them. So I cannot wait for that. That's going to mess up Ira and Lena's long conversations because now they got somebody else. Now this could be a 7-hour show. Or it could end on time. Who knows? But let's see how Ira and Lena deal with JP out in I want to say Montana. I might have forgot, but yeah, that'll be a great day. A great day. So it's 10 a.m. Saturday. Next show. Ira, Lena, and JP. Don't miss it. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock if you're out in Edmonton or San Antonio, and then 7 o'clock on the West Coast. The West Coast. So don't miss it. Thank you, Luannah. Thank you, JJ, for being here. Thank you, Becky and Sharon, for the comments. There was so many people watching the show today. Throw those comments out there. Let us know what you're thinking. Especially about the paradox and duality.
Here we go. And dating drama.
Yes. Oh, boy. All right. We'll see everybody next time.
Okay. Blessings.